All right, good evening, parents, family members, friends, students. As the advisor of the National Honor Society and as a teacher here at Alexandria Area High School, I welcome you to the 2022 National Honor Society induction ceremony. A big thank you to all of you for being here, and a big thank you to everyone who helped put this ceremony together. Sherry Saxton, all of our administrators, our district food service and maintenance, this year's board members, and my student helpers. We couldn't put it together without them. This evening, we celebrate an outstanding group of students who represent the 4 pillars of NHS: leadership, academics, service, and character. Students, you have been accepted into this organization because you represent our 4 pillars: leadership, academics, service, and character. Here with us today to talk about these pillars in more depth are our 4 current members of our National Honor Society Student Board. After speaking on their pillars, each member will light a candle as a symbol of its importance.
All right, well, hello everyone. My name is Matt Wieberding, and today I have been chosen from among my peers to talk to you all about scholarship. Frankly, this is probably a fitting topic for me. This year I've taken almost exclusively college classes, and I've certainly had my fill of applying for as many scholarships as possible. If that weren't enough, I'm definitely an expert, or as my friends call me, a nerd. I think every one of us here knows the trials of scholarship. After all, this is the National Honor Society. You had to prove your academic ability just to join. Because of that, I think I can safely assume that most of you have spent hours on a single project, or have stayed up until midnight trying to fit in all of your homework. School is not easy. None of you could be here today without the effort you've devoted. Like I said a bit ago, I've been taking as many of the top level classes here at the high school as possible. Some of you tonight likely intend to do the same thing, and some of you do not. That's okay, because despite what I'm sure you're all thinking, scholarship does not mean your academic ability. Well, that's not entirely true, but in this circumstance, it means something a little bit different. When I'm talking about scholarship, I'm not talking about how smart you are or how good your grades are. I'm talking about your drive to learn something new. Let's take a scholar, say Leonardo da Vinci. This was a man who was clearly talented in school smarts. He created numerous inventions and has since been well recognized for his intelligence. None of us doubt that he was at least a little bit smart. But this is also the same man who painted the Mona Lisa. Now I have a question for you artistic types in the audience, and you don't have to answer out loud, but I want you to think. Have you ever once considered yourself a scholar in terms of your art? If you have, well, I'd like to see your work, because it's definitely better than mine. But here's the thing. Da Vinci was a scholar in art, and in engineering, and in designing. And if he wanted to, he could have been a scholar in dancing or in bird watching. A scholar is not someone who has ability. A scholar is someone who tries to improve their ability. And here, as I stand before you as an officer of National Honor Society, this is what I want you to know. I didn't take the hardest classes because I thought they would be fun, or because I thought regular classes would be too easy. I took the hardest classes because I wanted to learn as much as I could. Ever since I was a kid, I've been curious about different parts of the world. Back then, I was probably curious what crayons tasted like. But now I'm curious about music and writing and understanding how the world works through science and physics, and also why crayons taste not so great. Curiosity is what drives us as humans, and it's the basis of scholarship. So today, this is what I ask of you all. As you join the National Honor Society, be curious. Seek out opportunities to learn and do new things. If you learn more, you'll improve yourself. And if you improve yourself, you can improve others. And by improving others, you can improve the community. So become a scholar, whether that is in school, the arts, or in bird watching. I now light this candle to illuminate your scholarship.
My name is Brittany Lannis. First and foremost, I'd like to once again congratulate everyone in this room tonight. Your commitment to education and determination to succeed has shown through in each and every one of you, and I'm so proud to welcome you to our chapter of the National Honor Society. I know every individual present here today will go on to do great things and represent the 4 pillars of our organization in their daily lives. With that being said, I will be speaking on behalf of the service aspect. Now, despite what you may think, service isn't only helping an elderly lady across the street or wearing those fashionably bright colored vests while you cautiously pick up garbage in the ditches, but rather it entails a much broader picture, one that helps you gain a true sense of community. Through my involvement with various service-based groups, as well as completing the volunteer hours necessary for this organization, I've gotten to further my own ideas of what service truly means. One of the most consistent takeaways I've reached is that your service has the ability to leave much more of an impact on people than you may think. A few years back, I helped coordinate both a toy drive and a campaign to collect necessities for those struggling with homelessness. At the moment, I honestly didn't think much of it. However, one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever gotten to partake in was delivering those baskets and seeing how much of a difference these small gestures made in their lives. It astonished me that something that took such little time on my part could be so appreciated by others. Upon recognizing that, I've been able to see that the same lesson applies to many other aspects of life as well, even when doing something as simple as thanking someone for picking up trash, serving you lunch, or helping you out. Thinking ahead, when applying for jobs, colleges, or leadership positions, it's imperative to recognize that people no longer just look at academic records. As crucial as good grades are, they're not the only contributors to a person's success. Being a well-rounded individual is equally as important, especially when considering community involvement. And honestly, if I've learned anything during my time at AAHS, it's that the community is readily willing to give back what you put into it, if not more. This school, in particular, has had multitudes of opportunities to work closely with community members for anything from engaging with band coaches our freshman year to senior portfolio presentations. Additionally, they're always present to cheer us on at games, concerts, and to lend a helping hand when we need it. That is one of the reasons why it is our responsibility to repay them for their generosities over the years. Through these formed connections, networking also becomes easier, which can open up even more opportunities for you. Not only does completing acts of service better the community, but it also aids in you feeling a sense of accomplishment in your life. Often, simply knowing that you've been of use to someone can brighten your entire mood. With that being said, I hope that the benefits of completing service acts have been made evident and that you will continue to carry them out through the volunteer opportunities offered by NHS. I now light this candle to illuminate your service.
My name is Ben Borden, and it has been my pleasure to serve as a board member of the Alexandria Area High School National Honor Society. Today, I'm very excited to pass the torch to each and every one of you, but before I do, I'd like to speak a few words about what character means to me. You may have heard the saying from American author and philosopher Aldo Leopold that ethical behavior is doing the right thing when no one else is watching. If we simply switch the words ethical behavior and character, you would have my definition of what of a strong character, doing the right thing when no one else is watching. As you are entering your senior year of high school, I'm 100% sure that you have had at least one situation in your life where you've had the choice between doing the wrong and right thing. And I'm 100% sure there's been a time when you wanted to do the wrong thing. Maybe you even did. It's so tempting. If no one's gonna know, what's it gonna hurt? Who's gonna say anything? But then there's your character. Your values and the traits that make you, well, you. Your character is shown when you are in those situations, when you are alone and faced with the right and wrong. That is when you are tested. As NHS members, it's obviously my hope that you always choose to do the right thing, but I know that's not always going to happen. That comes the final test of your character, which is whether you own up to the mistakes or you choose to not. This requires the utmost and the strongest character. To admit that you did something wrong is an inherently vulnerable act. No one likes to be wrong, let alone if you don't have to be. Only someone who has the high moral value that forces them to come clean after a mistake is someone who I believe has a strong character. In conclusion, in the next few years, your character will be tested more than ever. The challenge will be if you do the right thing, even when doing the wrong thing is so easy. Even when no one else would know that what you did is wrong. And the hardest part of the test, whether or not you own up to your mistakes and wrongdoings when you choose to do the wrong thing. Your test of character can come from anywhere. There is no wrong time or place to practice this skill. Though fairly cliche, there is room for every single one of you to have a strong character in NHS and in any other situation. I encourage you to seek out these opportunities and to use your skills to better our community and the future and to better the world. I now light this candle to illuminate your character.
Hello, all incoming National Honor Society members. I am Anthony Hoyt, and I have had the pleasure to serve this year's class of seniors as an officer. I want to take a second to congratulate everyone here tonight for being accepted into this prestigious program offered here at Alexandria Area High School. Although my time here will be finished, I'm excited to see my role be passed down onto the next generation of seniors here. If you look at the program for tonight, you'll see 4 pillars that represent NHS, as most of you should recognize because you had to write an essay on these pillars. Today, I would like to take a moment to talk about leadership. Throughout my years in high school, I've experienced many situations where I had to take the lead in order to get a project done, inform the community about a problem, or even lead a group of swimmers into the state meet. I hope that after tonight, you all take a moment to reflect on how you can be a leader in not just school, but in your community as well. Now, let us dive into the meaning of leadership and how we can define it. I want everyone here to take a moment to ask themselves a question. What does leadership mean or stand for? Some of you might have answered someone that takes initiative, a person who can align a group of people towards a similar goal, or even one who acknowledges achievements and shortcomings. While all those answers are correct, I believe that we need to think deeper about the term leader. Those answers from before are something you would find in a quick search on the internet. What I like to do is use that information from the internet and make up my own definition of leadership from personal experiences. An important concept to realize is that every person is unique in how they would lead, and there's nothing wrong with that. No one bluntly said that we had to follow a strict set of rules when it comes to leading. Someone who shows leadership qualities must find their own way of gathering people and align everyone towards the same goal in mind. So let's apply this knowledge to ourselves. I want everyone to think of leaders you've seen, heard, or have experienced in your lifetime. I also want you to think about how they hold themselves. When I think of a leader, I think of someone who is willing to recognize success from their team, but to also recognize when they have failed. I know that in society, we don't like to use the word failure, so let's change that word to growth. Whenever someone hasn't achieved their goal, I want them to think of how they can grow from that experience. Like Bob Ross once said, there are no mistakes, only happy little accidents. Before I go into my final thoughts, I do want to mention the only rule when it comes to leading. It's not about a title. When it comes to leadership, it is not about holding a title or showing up to meetings and knowing you are the most important person in the room. It is about influencing people and guiding them to success along with your own success. That is the significance of leadership. Guide a team and know that you are a part of the team, not above it. While you may have a greater responsibility, that does not mean you are placed higher than others. We all share the same goal in mind. With that being said, I want to share my definition of leadership that I have come up with over my years of experience in high school. Leadership is the ability to gather a group of people towards a common goal while respecting each individual on a similar level as oneself. Leaders are best known when they themselves are recognized for their work as a team rather than as the person who leads them. To finish off, I do not believe there is such thing as a natural-born leader and a made leader. Researchers have studied if people are born with the natural innate ability to lead, and studies have shown that leadership is 30% genetic and 70% learned. Leaders are made, not born, and it is through hard work and dedication that we see many great leaders in our world. While many leaders possess traits that come naturally to them or that they have developed early in their lives, these traits can be obtained. If there is anything that everyone should take away here tonight, it is that leaders aren't rare. Everyone has the ability and skills to push forward and can inspire motivation and passion in others. Remember, a book can tell you how to lead, but you yourself must find your own way to take initiative and light the world in passion. I now light this candle to illuminate your leadership.
Good evening again, everybody. As Matt, Brittany, Ben, and Anthony just expressed, being a member of the National Honor Society, like being a leader, a scholar, a volunteer, or a person of character in general, is not always easy, straightforward, or one size fits all. Each of you inducted today brings your own combination of skills, strengths, and personality traits to the NHS table, and that's wonderful. It's necessary. Each year, these ideas about individuality and uniqueness emerge as common themes in our student speeches. This happens despite the fact that my only instructions each year are split up the pillars, write a speech. And yet it happens again and again. What this pattern has shown me as a teacher, as an advisor, and as a general adult human person is that young people consistently showcase their commitment to and belief in their own agency, their ability to make an impact on the world. Now, some of you might be thinking, that's just a cliche, so what does it really mean at the end of the day? And as an English teacher, I totally sympathize with you, I really do. I spend a lot of time trying to avoid cliche. But here's the thing, it's true. Every one of us makes an impact. Every day, a ripple in our corner of the pond, if you will. Some days we're a pebble, others a boulder, for better or for worse. And here's the other thing. We all know this. If I were to ask you outright, I imagine that all of you would agree with me. Yes, I know, I can make an impact on the people around me. The trouble isn't that we don't know. The trouble is that sometimes we forget to remember what that means. To move beyond the cliche, to walk the impactful walk, we have to return to those ideas about individuality. The impact that you make in a day will never be exactly the same as the one made by the person sitting next to you, nor will it be exactly the same as the one you made yesterday or the day before. Which is really fantastic news for all of us for a couple of different reasons, two primary ones. One, it means that we do each get to make an impact in our own way. It leaves all kinds of opportunity for all of us to be exactly what we are, individuals. And two, and just as importantly, it means that each day we have the opportunity to reassess. Yesterday didn't go quite how you wanted it to go. Try again tomorrow. When we remember that we have this enormous personal power and responsibility, we gain an equally enormous amount of perspective. The impact we make today is not the impact we have to make tomorrow. We have an uncountable number of opportunities over the course of our lives to be kinder or braver or really anything else that we want to be better at. So how do we remember all of this power we have? Usually these kinds of things require reminders. Now, I promise I'm not going to send you a remind message every morning that says, rise, shine, make an impact. But we do meet as a National Honor Society every month in our morning meetings. And what I will ask you to do is that each month when we gather for those morning meetings, that you consider that time as more than just an opportunity to check the box, fill in your hours, but rather as a regular reminder of everything we ask you to be when you join the National Honor Society. Not just a high-achieving student or a person who completes their mandatory volunteer hours, but a person of character who leads themselves and others as they interact with the world. Each year, we watch a new group of National Honor Society members leave their mark on our school and on our community. Each year, we hope that they will continue to leave their mark far beyond the walls of Alexandria Area High School. And each year, we send that senior group out into the world with high hopes for their futures as leaders, academics, and servants of character. I want all of you sitting up here right now to remember this advice as you prepare to begin not only your tenure in the National Honor Society, but your last year of high school as well. Just as I have faith that those who have come before you will make their mark on the world, so too do I believe in you. The impact you have already made and that which you will continue to make will help to inform the legacy that you leave for yourself, for your school, and for your community. So, all I ask students and audience members, if you are willing to participate, is that you remember you have this tremendous agency, this tremendous power, an immense capacity for impact, and the continual ability to make that impact a positive one. Now, new members, please rise and join board member Matthew Wieberdink in reciting the oath of the National Honor Society, which is printed on your program, our statement of commitment to growth and to service.
Alrighty. Ready? I pledge to uphold the high purpose of the Alexandria Area High School chapter of the National Honor Society. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. I will be loyal to my school and will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, leadership, service, and character.
Thank you. All right, now let's complete this process. Each year, new members of the National Honor Society sign their names in our record book as a symbol of their commitment to growing as individuals and serving their community. The Alexandria chapter of this organization has a record of all new members dating back to 1933. Tonight, we will add your names. Each student inducted tonight was not only invited based on their excellent academic record, but also accepted by a faculty panel based on their applications, outlining their past experiences with the 4 pillars of NHS, as well as their hopes for growth and future commitment to these principles. Tonight, we celebrate all of these accomplishments. Students, as I call your name, please come forward to receive your certificate and add your name to our record of this tradition. All right, front row, I'm going to have you all stand, please. Eric Amo. Zachary Adolfson. Brooke Anderson. Sophia Anderson. Ty Aaron. Emma Ballou. Ellie Bowney. Kaylee Behrens. Amanda Bergerson. Teresa Bitson. Nick Borden. Chance Boyer. Morgan Brevick. Emily Booyer. Brianna Bertzel. Sydney Byrne. Spencer Chin. Ben Cook. Anna Dare. Kylie Doomer. Alexa Egebrotten. Jackson Eppert. Alicia Erickson. Grace Eving. Samuel Faber. Jacob Fleming. Alyssa Floating. Elena Fugelstead. Elena Gunther. Grace Gustafson. Morgan Harrison. Emma Hohalter. Gabe Hoven. Kaya Isendorf. Giselle Yonner. Taryn Jaworski. Matthew Zhang. Kinsey Johnson. Morgan Jones. Isabella Kent. Haley Klimek. Michaela Klimek. Tyler Clute. Bryn Costers. Joseph Lamsky. Nick Lavasser. Ashton Lickness. Bryn Logie. Lauren Morris. Victoria McGrain. Madison Melby. Sophia Minerath. Joseph Moga. Carly Mulville. Abigail Nelson. Jordan Nicholson. Zavin Netzelman. Ashling O'Connor. Madison O'Shea. Summer Overland. Alexis Pazdernick. Noah Poland. Aubrey Porter. Henry Ramsdorf. Eric Reinecke. Riley Richards. Xander Romer. Shelby Runge. Madison Sadoff. Ashton Schlosser. Connor Schreck. Nicholas Schreiner. Kendra Sieve. Braden Sladek. Braden Steidel. Ella Stussy. Jack Stika. Rihanna Thorson. Anna Tikkanen. Allison Trombley. Cody Vatensdahl. Cole Vatensdahl. Sophia Vinci. Courtney Violet. Emma Walters. Nicholas Wieberdink. Grace Wink. Aurora Worth. Sophia Wiseman. Colby Wacko. Parker Zwock. Parents, family members, and friends, thank you all for supporting these incredible students. At this time, please stand with me as we congratulate with applause the 2022 inductees to the National Honor Society. Again, thank you for being here tonight to support these students as they begin this new journey of leadership and service. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. There are cookies in the commons. Thank you.